Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe right now, Indigo fam. Yeah. What's up, fam? Lee. So I was thinking about making a video on how I figured out I was different and how, okay, I realized I was so different and they started labeling us indigo children. And I put a label on myself because I realized I was different. So I went all the way back to when I was a young kid. Yes, I did. And that. I remember that was very different from all the rest. And even though I had a lot of friends and I got along with everybody, I didn't see eye to eye with them. And then came when I was 4 years old, I was questioning who I was. Like, why am I here? As if, again, I think I stated this in the previous video, like I was just reincarnated and into this body. And I looked at my Aunt Mary and I asked her, who am I? Or I asked her something like this. It went something like this. Do you ever wonder who you are? Like, and I couldn't really explain it. I was 4 years old. And she looked at me and she thought I was freaking crazy for that. She told my mom. Nobody remembers because I always ask. My memory is impeccable. So, well, to some extent. So, when I was younger, I used to run around and I was obsessed with aliens. And I have no idea why. I look back and I wonder why I had such an obsession. And then I came home from dinner one night, looked up into the sky, and there is something that looks like a star, but it's moving quick. It's really bright, and I'm like, I'm just in awe. This is nighttime in Virginia, and I was just in shock because I loved aliens, and I was only 6 years old at the time, which is crazy. No, actually, I take it back. I was about 9 at this point. And it was Halley's Comet, and I looked at my parents. I said, "What is that?" And they're like, "It's just a star." I'm like, "That's not a star. I thought it was a UFO or something." Well, then I found out later it was Halley's Comet. Now, when I was in school, I got along with everybody, but I got along with. I went to 2 different high schools, and I went to Jupiter High School. Yeah, go figure. Jupiter. I live in Jupiter. Yeah, I'm from out of this world for sure, and I'm also right now next to Juneau Beach, Florida. And so I had a Kundalini or awakening when I was 24. It was a Kundalini awakening, but not like the one I had recently. And so I was so confused, so lost, and I was like, "What is going on with me?" I didn't know what to do at the time, so what I did was I reached out to people on Facebook when I used to use Facebook. I don't really use it. It's just a tool now. But so I reached out to it and I got a number from this guy. It was an older guy and we spoke for hours and hours and hours and he told me something really significant that I'll never forget, and I'll never forget this conversation. As a matter of fact, I was in the car with my mom and she was like, "What are you doing, James?" I'm like, "I'm talking to this guy. Just relax. Let me talk to this guy." And I'm running out of stores on the phone with him and stuff while we're running errands and stuff. I think I was 24. And he told me, "Listen, this is what he said to me. He said, listen to me. Remember that the two strongest, most powerful words is I am. I am." And I never really understood what he's meant till I would say about 3 or 4 years ago. And I am an indigo child. That's what it is. And just like My mentor says your vibe attracts your tribe. And I see people out there on YouTube trying to explain themselves, but they have a tough time, I think, because they don't know that they know that something's different about them, but they don't know how to express it. And that's what I found difficult for myself, expressing myself. Knowing that I'm different. So, yeah, such long arms, it's freaking crazy. And, so I knew that was different. And I'll never forget this conversation I had with this guy. So, this just made me think. When I went to California, I went to rehab in California, and there were 2 dorms, one for younger kids and one for adults. Well, I should have been with the younger people, but they put me with the adults because they saw the maturity in me. Because I don't like to say I'm an old soul, I say I'm an ancient soul. So I spoke with all these people, and there was this was Betty Ford, this is where all like the celebrities go and shit. And I spoke with people. One was and it's funny, we were all talking about aliens all the time. It was so weird. So I sat down, I spoke with this one guy, and he said that he swore that he was getting abducted by aliens. And he explained to me the whole situation, how it happened. And what he said was, he remembered, and it happened all his life. And he said after it stopped happening, that he felt kind of bad. Like he wanted to be abducted, but I mean, I don't know. I believe he was, based on what he told me. So what happened was, we sat down and we talked about it, and he said that he called his friend the night after he was abducted because he was having flashbacks of being in a silver ship and them doing some weird shit to him. He told me all about it. I'm not going to get into it really, but he also said that there was what looked like a hybrid of him, and they said that they weren't speaking to him, they were using telepathy in order to speak to him. And he said he knew it was his kid, really, because the experiment, well, I don't know if you know this, but I know that, and I'm talking about the gray aliens. He said they were the grays, the tall grays. And what happened was, that same night there was people were talking about the alien in the sky, or the UFOs in the sky, and there was allegedly a UFO in the sky that day. That night, it was an evening, and another person claimed they were abducted that night too. After all this happened, it really had me going. And then there was a fighter pilot. He used to be a fighter pilot, and he was flying 747s, and he told me that it was so crazy. He said to me that I'm wiser beyond my years. I'll never forget him saying that. And I was really happy that he said that, because I already know I'm smart. But he said, you are wiser beyond your years. That's what he said to me. Because I knew all about aliens and stuff. And he was a fighter pilot for the U.S. Navy, and he was flying F-18s. And what happened was, he said he saw some weird shit. He said, actually, I take it back. He never saw any weird shit. But he said all his friends that were pilots saw some really weird things that happened. And he told me what's going on, what he saw, because I was so interested in it. And I've always been obsessed with extraterrestrials. And just the other day, I was looking up into the sky, and I saw something really weird. I saw a little disc, and it was like, how do I say? It looked like a little light just shoot up into the clouds. And it happened for I saw it for about 3 seconds, but because I'm always looking up, see if I can see anything. But this is while I was driving, and I was like, what the fuck? I'm telling you, this was something really weird. And anyways, I want to hear people's stories about extraterrestrials, because I know that there are so many people that have seen things, especially on the beach. On Jupiter Beach, I've seen some things, but I've heard also, I say it's a supernatural beach. And in my videos you see it, but at night is when all the weird shit happens. And I've seen some really weird stuff at Jupiter Beach. Anyways, family, I just want to say what's up. send you some good, energetic, bunny energizer. Yeah, good vibes to all y'all. And I also want to say that I appreciate you and that life is good. Be easy, be kosher. Let's save the animals, save the planet. If you're Indigo, like and subscribe, because I'm going to be talking about this more often. I'm finally getting back to myself because the Matrix programmed me so bad, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Now I'm going to go have some fun on the beach, make some videos on how gorgeous it is, and have a good day. Peace.